In The story of the king of the gorilla tribe starts in southern Oklahoma. In 1985, the Dawes family lost their newborn son in the jungles of Texhoma. After fending for his food at the age of 3, a bush monkey female, who happened to be the tribal leader, took in the Baron and raised him as her own cub. He was pummeled and brutalized by his adopted brethren until one fateful day, a couple who were chased from the area left their belongings. One was a book on the art of fisticuffs, the sweet science. The other was the word of God. The combination of the two led to him besting all bush monkeys in the art of combat. Impressed with the sheer brutality of the Baron's rage-filled fights, the alpha male began to take the Baron under his wing, furthering his training in the art of primal warfare and solidifying his place as a crown prince among the bush monkeys. At the tender age of 9 years old, the Baron witnessed another alpha come and best his gorilla-like mentor in physical combat, thus making him the new alpha male of his adopted tribe. The Baron's place within the tribe became a precarious one. Respecting his new queen, an alpha female, the new male leader did not outright kill the Baron, as would happen in any similar case. Instead, he ostracized, harassed, and bullied him. That is until one fateful day when the Baron's patience ran thin. An ostracized Baron was near the river picking wild onions for his adopted mother. Having snuck into countless camps to listen to music of the human world, he sang Johnny Cash songs to himself as he gathered his mother's favorite snack. Suddenly, allies of the new alpha male showed up on the river, where they were pushing a local bootlegger, cornering him and bringing about their unique brand of fear. To devour such a human grasp and carnal fear was to the rebellious bush monkey akin to consuming illicit drugs of the human world. It was outlawed by the queen of their tribe. The now teenage Baron witnessed this outrageous behavior. Knowing that the entirety of his tribe would be relocated were a human to meet any harm at the hands of his bush monkey brethren, he tried diplomacy. To this the alpha male's allies began to mock and bluff charge the Baron, though they knew he was about that action and most days wanted smoke. Enraged at the disrespect to his queen and mother, as well as the rebellious nature of these particular tribal members, the Baron summarily and with calculated efficiency beat all three to death with his bare hands. With what we would call boxer's fractures, the Baron's brutalizing of the three adult males did little to him physically, save for annoy him at the fact that his onion picking had been interrupted. Not yet a wordsmith, he tried to understand the hysterical outlaw bootlegger but couldn't. Frustrated, he knocked him out and carried him back to his camp. His long walk back was an arduous one. Though he had strength and stamina, it could not compare to that of the bush monkeys. Exhausted, he fell asleep in an unoccupied bush monkey and bush hole. While in a deep sleep, he was given a vision. This vision led to the solution for the alpha male and his followers. Having made allies among the bush monkey, the Baron arranged a coup d'etat. During a session of storytelling in their native tongue, a young former rival to the Baron dumped the teenager told of the Baron's harrowing rescue of a child trapped in a burning cabin. Being filled with jealousy, the alpha male went to attack the teenager compatriot of the Baron. That is until all the male young jumped the alpha, nearly smoking his game. Defeated thoroughly and near death, the alpha male was taken before the Baron, who was now seated in the earthen throne reserved for alpha males. With an axe he had confiscated from the human world, the Baron brutally decapitated the alpha male, holding the head high above his own. Upon witnessing her son bathed in the blood of the usurper king, his adopted bush monkey mother gave her warrior's scream, to which all present in the tribe bended the knee to the Baron of Bigfoot.
Witness the might of the Jabari! First time!
Imperius Rex. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is doing well. I've been taking up a little bit more shadow boxing, working out a little bit, trying to get that summer look back. And it made me think, there's a lot of people who are messing around with these cryptids out there in the field. A lot are like me. They don't carry firearms of any kind. So I've not been asked much, but the few times I haven't had an answer. But what do you do if you happen upon a Bigfoot or a Dogman and you have no weapon? You're pushed into a position where you have to defend yourself. Taking all religious aspects out of it, it's just man and beast. Well, 3 years ago, there was a gentleman in the mountains of Southern California, I believe. And he was happened upon by a big cat, wildcat. Some people call them mountain lions, cougars, whatever the case is. This guy put this wildcat in a triangle hold and choked it to death. Now, I don't know where most folks are from, but I've been stopped while going fishing on private land in the mountains of Oklahoma, which are just big foothills. There's no mountains really to speak of here. But I can tell you, these things are big, they're quiet, and they're mean. And it would mean very little to them to smoke your game completely. What I suggest everyone do is take some self-defense class. There's no tricks. There's no thing you can pull out of a hat that's going to help you if you are in that precarious situation. You'd have to fight completely for your life. Now, I'll say this, and you say, yeah, well, who's going to be in that position? There's a lot of people who are put in that position. Bigfoot in Germany, old Bob over there. I believe he's back in the States. He was close to that position. Were it not for some outside interference, he would have had to fight an alpha female, large female. So, and I don't know about you folks, but these things, if they do accost us, cost me or anyone with me, they're going to know they messed with somebody in DDoS's tribe. These things are flesh and blood. There's tales of someone killing them with a musket, black powder rifle. You don't have to just curl up in a ball and die. You can fight back. So the first thing on the list, calisthenics. You got to make sure you're good and stretched. Limber. If you're hiking that far into the woods where you're going to be running into one of these things that's going to be violent enough to accost you, you're going to have to be in somewhat shape, decent shape at least anyways. 2 is your breathing. I suggest, and when I say this, I'm not talking about no Kundalini yoga. I'm not talking about any kind of nonsense akin to that. I'm talking about just stealing. A lot of people say, oh, well, D, I can't empty my mind of thoughts. I've never been able to empty my mind of thoughts. When I meditate on the word of God, meditate on my day, meditate on my future, whatever tasks I have ahead of me, simply focusing in on one thought. Much like a lot of you, my brain's like scrambled eggs half the time. It's got 5 or 6 things going on in it at once. You focus in on that one thing, the most important thing, and you start peeling the layers back like an onion. So you find yourself in that stillness and that quietness with just you and that one thought. When you get that down, let that one thought be your physical presence. Making yourself bigger than what you are, shoulders back, chest out. Widen your stance, widen your arms. If I were you, I'd watch videos on gorillas in their natural habitat, how they carry themselves. The gorilla doesn't necessarily have to be bigger. It just has to be more imposing, if that makes sense. Wow, thank you, James Smith. Wow. That's very much appreciated. Doss, you have a strong calling on your life, brother. Father God has anointed you in these last days, and God is letting you know to go forward what is speaking into your heart. What's speaking into my heart here lately is, and I appreciate that sincerely, that comes from the bottom. Can y'all hear me a little bit better? I hooked up my whole microphone. I don't know if you can. But what's been speaking to me here lately is just the simple fact that there are a lot of people out there, more people than what you think. There's one young man, Spirits and Foraging, I believe. And he's going out there. He reminds me a lot of myself when I first started. He's not subscribed to any religion, but he gives credence to the Lord Jesus Christ. He's going out there with his head on his shoulders, and he has a good heart. He has a heart towards helping his brother and helping his fellow man in the understanding of these beasts, not kind of, superimposing what he wants them to be or what he thinks they are, but giving it to you, no sugar, no cream, just straight up. And I appreciate that. I'm glad to see somebody out there who is doing that. Not to take anything away from anybody else who's in the field. There's a lot of great guys out there in the field, and I'd like to put more of a focus on them because that's where I started, and that's where I'll inevitably end, is out there in the field among these creatures. That's what it's all about. These shows that I do where we talk about many various different things. A lot of them are faith-based. That's just who I am. But at the end of the day, these cryptids are still out there. They're still harming people, and we can come up with our theories why. I have my theories that I'm comfortable with, that I subscribe to, but at the very end of the day, they're just theories. I don't know for an unequivocal fact, and neither does anyone else. The only one that really does is Uncle Sam. So you're face to face, and more than likely, folks, what people are calling Dogman isn't what you think it is. I think 99.9% of the time they're werewolves, or as some people call them, skinwalkers. Bad medicine. I talked to a young lady the other day who doesn't subscribe to my faith, but I was explaining to her the lore of the skinwalker. It was a native girl, steeped in her tradition, her family's tradition. And she believes, or has been led to believe, that these skinwalkers are just, people who want to be closer to nature and they want to understand nature more. Folks, if I could eliminate the word nature out of our lexicon, I'd do it quick, fast, in a doggone hurry. I don't see anything wrong with using creation. I use it in my everyday language. Nature is akin to, well, I won't say it's akin, but it's one of those open doors that's going to lead to that spirit worship. And that spirit that most people worship who are out there in the woods is Gaia, Mother Earth. I believe the Bible said something about who taught the creature to worship the creation instead of the creator. And that's where we're at. More people than you think are going out there with their head in the clouds and this hippy dippy nonsense floating through in between their ears. And the sad thing about it is these same people are afraid to go out at night. They say there's other things in the woods. Folks, I've had most of my occurrences during the day. I was bluff charged in the middle of the afternoon just because you can't see them. And you know as well as I do, man fears most what he cannot see. But I happen to subscribe to a faith or the God of that faith. He doesn't suggest, he doesn't give some sort of advice on how not to. He commands me to walk without fear. Because if he be for us, who can be against us? Now, that's not to say I'm just going to tread through the woods like some fool and walk through their nests, which I wish I remember the gentleman's name. It's akin to a horror movie what this guy did. One of these things threw something and hit him, and that's what made him start his channel. He has it's not funny, but it is in a way. He has a video of him going through there and completely destroying nests, stomping on them. He sets like a part of the woods on fire. It's been pretty crazy. And I don't even know what happened to that old boy. He could have gone the way of all flesh for all I know. That's what you don't do. But as far as these dogman creatures, the actual dogman, which I believe is rare to the point of extinction, you're not going to have much problems with. They're going to be in the trees watching you. You won't even know they're there. But there is these other ones, these werewolves everything's being classified, everything's being thrown under the catch-all term of Dogman. And a lot of people know it. Kirk Stokes, if he was sitting right here, he'd tell you one of his greatest pieces of footage, and for whatever reason, his own reasons, and I don't blame him. You know, everybody has their own choices to make. He actually admitted it on one of the old shows that is now locked up somewhere. But he admitted that his best piece of footage wasn't a Dogman, but a werewolf. You've heard me tell the story of the werewolf coming out of the green fire. These gentlemen were in the woods in robes, and this researcher, who was Kirk Stokes, was watching from a distance. They started chanting and they sacrificed something. He never would say what, but when he got to the part where they sacrificed something, his voice changed. And he said a few moments later, this red and orange fire turned completely green and started shooting out of the sky. Shooting out of the campfire, out of the ground. And he said it sounded like a shotgun went off. And from this green fire emerged a werewolf. It shot out, hit the ground, looked at the ones in the robes, and took off running in the opposite direction into the woods. Well, suffice it to say, he got some yonder. Quick, fast, in a hurry, I'd imagine. I couldn't imagine being in that position, seeing that. Whatever they were sacrificing, whether it was an animal or something more significant, I know Kirk's just like me. It was probably hard for him to even sit still and watch that happen, but he's also no fool. I think about that very often, especially here lately, now that everybody and their mama's listening to these Dogman stories. Folks, they're as real as Bigfoot and all the rest of it. And it's a treacherous and wicked thing. These werewolf creatures are men who have smudged their souls with so much darkness that they don't even, the thought of even going out of returning from that darkness doesn't even enter into their head. William Schnoblin is a Masonic Jew. He's a subscribed Masonic Jew. He's been on the Prophecy Club. I know some of you have seen him, but the way he explains it, and he's very strange in the way. Maybe he's an awkward guy. I don't know, but it's always kind of rubbed me. It's kind of weird, but that's neither here nor there. The way he explains it, he doesn't necessarily say what you have to do, but what he says is it's some of the worst things you could imagine doing to gain this so-called power to be able to transform into one of these werewolves. Now, what are you going to do with that? You've heard tales of men going up against werewolves with swords and shields and getting their game smoked. So what are we going to do when we're in hand-to-hand combat with one? You still your mind. You focus in on that one thing, and that's that werewolf. It's more agile than you are. More than likely, it's more strong than you are. But what we have that they don't, and a lot of people don't touch on this, outside of the Holy Spirit, we are 10 times smarter than any creature out there in the woods. They may be more efficient at using the environment than we are. But man lived in the woods as well. We are made in the image of the one true God. We aren't creators, but we're definitely creative. And I guarantee your creativity is going to be put in hyperdrive if you want to survive that situation. Eyes, throat. I mean, when you get past those claws and all that muscle, you got some vulnerable areas on any of these things, as you do with any kind of wildlife. It's impressive watching the Discovery Channel or the History Channel where they talk about the tribes over in Africa. Folks, they're going up against lions that weigh half a ton with what looks to me to be sharpened rods that you hold curtains up with. And they smoke their game. They kill them like 90 going north, and don't drop a bead of sweat doing it. There's a tribe that primarily eat baboons. That's their primary source of protein in their diet. And folks, I don't know if you've seen a baboon, but these baboons aren't anything to be trifled with either. They got fangs that go on for days. And they run from these tribal members. Because these tribal members, they take off running. They can run. They go miles and miles before they get to their hunting grounds. And they run and don't stop running. They'll bend down and drink water out of the print of some sort of an animal, they'll only get something enough to wet their mouth, and they'll run on for another 5, 6, 7, 8 miles. It's phenomenal. And these people, their muscular nature, just the way they're built is completely different than us. We get fast food. We go to our do our workouts 3, 4 times a week and stand in front of the mirror and think that we're something wonderful. While on the other side of the world, these guys are running, chasing lions and baboons and killing them with sharp sticks. You know what I mean? There's hunters that are sportsmen that go over there and they're killed and they got elephant guns. They got enough arsenal to start another civil war. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me how many people die at the hands of wildlife. Now, take, for instance, the grizzly bear or the black bear, or the Kodiak, whatever. Bears don't get enough credit for being the vicious monsters that they are. They will literally eat you alive. They'll hold you down with one paw and put all that massive muscle and weight on your back while they're ripping chunks out of your legs and butt and calf muscle. While you're sitting up there screaming and going into shock, they're just kind of chewing, watching the birds fly. It means nothing to them. If you don't believe me, watch how they catch salmon. That's probably the most popular footage you'll find out there. Watch how they catch salmon out of a brook and how they eat salmon. They'll eat you the same way. You run up a tree, it's running up right after you, probably faster than you can get up there. So the only weapon that we have is our minds. You have to use your environment. You have to use what the Lord gave you, what muscle, what strength, what stamina that you do have. And it is beyond possible. I think it's very, 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 very possible to not only survive, but to win against not only the wild beasts, but these beasts of the field, these monsters. Now, more than likely, you're not going to be out there without a firearm. Nobody's as crazy as I am. As you heard in the origin story of the bear, and I'll beat one of these things to death with my bare hands, and they know it. Not really. Maybe. But I have the luxury of happening upon a tribe that I spent an inordinate amount of time with, to the point where even after 2 years, it's like they're there waiting for me. And they got a little bit too excited for my taste to where they're acting like they're going to breach the normal boundaries that they set for themselves. They're running through down trees and sound like car wrecks and stuff going off. One other thing, and this is off topic a little bit. Folks, you know me. I'm just one of y'all. I have no illusions of being any type of celebrity. The experiences that I've had that are beyond what most people have does not make me better than anyone. And the information that I've gathered during those experiences, I vehemently share with anybody who cares to listen, most of which have gone on to make their own careers doing the same thing. That being said, as you know, here at the BDRP, not only will I not allow you guys to be bullied, but I won't be bullied or subjugated myself. And in that, there was a comment left by some jabroni. And the video he left it on was very, 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 very strange. I want to share that with you. It was just something I threw up. You know what I mean? Playing that YouTube game. You got to play the game if you want to grow. Now, this was the video. I'll throw it up for you. And I know it's just some weirdos. I don't even want to call them that. I don't know who they are. I don't want to judge them. But I offered an invitation. Imagine being this old boy. Look, he's seeing all these, look at that idiot. He's seeing all these young kids. This guy's World War II age. Watch him turn back and look. He's like, man, I killed Nazis for this. Back in my day, we were storming into Nazi mansions and pulling them out and beating their brains out. He watched his buddies die face down in the mud for these punks. Imagine being this old boy. Look, he's seeing all these, look at that idiot. He's seeing all these young kids. This guy's World War II age. Watch him turn back and look. He's like, man, I killed Nazis for this. Back in my day, we were storming into Nazi mansions and pulling them out and beating their brains out. All right, so it's straightforward enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fan of our veterans, especially the World War II era. I vehemently hold them up in a high degree because they come from a different, better time. So, and I don't think I was wrong in saying that. Those are a bunch of punks, right? They're in the streets protesting some stupid thing because somebody didn't call them a girl when they want to be a boy or something. You know how it goes. But when I looked at the comments, which was very, very crazy to me, that on this of all things, somebody would find some sort of fault or problem. To which, it is what it is. This jabroni, where'd he go? Guess he deleted it. Good on him. But he says that I'm arrogant. Oh no, there it is. There it is. Hold on. So I always like to, I'm petty, I guess, but just for the sake of seeing, so nobody thinks I'm telling a pogly pie. Jacer 235 says, if that's your perspective on humanity, you have the problem. You feel that you're above civilians. You sound like the punk. Maybe you need to sit back and check your ego, Mr. Bouncer, supposed man of God. Here believes that he has the authority to judge those he considers inferior. Dude, what the? So, Mr. whatever your name is, because you're not going to actually say what your real name is. You're going to come under some pseudonym. My name is DeAndre Lamar Doss. People call me D. The Baron's a nickname. I stand wholeheartedly behind what I said. Those idiots seeing this old man, this frail old man walking down the street. I mean, they're punks. I don't even know. I don't care what they're protesting. Probably the same thing that you would protest if you were out there. Something that goes against God. And I like how you heathens and you godless infidels are the first to point out how I'm a supposed man of God, or one of my brothers or sisters is a supposed woman or man of God. When you have no leadership within your own spirit, you're led by your own wiles and whims. So this is your chance. If you're awake, I would like for you to come on this show and uninterrupted, voice your problem with me. I'll give you all the time you need. Or you can do it on your channel if you have the saying to build one. And I'll come on there and I'll quietly wait until it's my turn. But see, you'll never do that. You'll sit behind a screen name and you'll talk trash. Because that's the equivalent of what you can do. Like, you don't know me from the man in the moon. And people like you seriously give me a feeling in my stomach that's akin. When you have surgery and they put all that stuff in that bag, when you're out and you wake up and you're kind of queasy. That's what folks like you do to me. It's more than just a stomach ache. It makes me want to vomit when I read stupid stuff like that from somebody like you who has no idea what they're talking about. Yet you listen to my show, because I think I've mentioned once that I used to be a bouncer a long time ago in my early 20s. So you listen very, very closely. I don't think I'm above anybody. I'm willing to publicly state that. As a matter of fact, you've heard me say, because you listen to the show, that the Lord came here to save sinners, of which I am chief. My sins were great in the eyes of the Lord, son. So before you get on here and think that nobody's going to see your little comment and you're going to try to sway the comment section on a short, know that I'm always watching. I read everything, and I'm going to smoke your game. I'm going to embarrass you. I really wish you would get your punk ass up here so I can embarrass you in front of my fellow insomniacs. But you'll never do it because you're a coward. So this is what I suggest you do. Why don't you go out to the woods and accomplish something, or build your own channel and accomplish something? Either that, or eat your hot dogs, drink your beer, and be a part of the audience. Because if you're not going to contribute anything positive, why contribute something negative? That's my public service announcement for you, Mr. Jacer, Jasser, whatever you call yourself. Whether you're a man or a woman, American or otherwise, you just came on the wrong channel to try to bully somebody. So Have a good day, sweetheart. Hope to see you soon. I really do. And I'll be polite. No swear words. I won't insult you. I want you to air your grievances to see if you have the sand, because you've made these broad assumptions that I think I'm above somebody because I see a bunch of purple-headed punks dancing around some old World War II veteran that looks just as disgusted as I was. So anyways, God bless you. Sorry about that, folks. I just actually wanted to Zcon Ace Singular. What's up, Ace? Sorry you have to hear all that, Ace. I know you're a gentleman, don't. But you know, every now and again, you got to roast a pig. So back to the action. Now that I've given you the natural man's solution to dealing with these things, folks, I suggest you pray. Suggest you pray and put on the whole armor of God. That's not just a spiritual thing. Spirit is more powerful than flesh. People have the misconception that if they pray, that natural things might still do something to them. You have to have faith. We're rewarded based on our faith. Our prayers are answered based on our own personal faith. And for anybody who's World War II age or World War II veteran or older than me, God bless y'all. Sorry for swearing. But brothers and sisters, this is the time. We cannot allow these people to just run amok. That's what they're doing. They say what they want to say with impunity. Nobody stops them because they're just talking madness. You got to stand firm. I know you know people like this at work. People like this probably in your own family. And they're so lost in the sauce and so far gone down the barrel of disrespect that nobody wants to deal with them. They just kind of let them go with impunity. I say it's time to stop that. I say it's time to hold them to task and make them stand accountable for the words out of their own mouth. Because this is the age of do what thou wilt. What about my feelings? Because I feel it, it should be so. Even though it goes against everything right and everything decent that I've been taught or haven't been taught, that society deems as being decent. But that's starting to sway. That needle is starting to push to the other side. Hey, Sweet Luna's having a nightmare. It's crazy. It's wild seeing dogs sleep on their back. I didn't know dogs went through puberty. I mean, I guess that's stupid because they have to go through puberty, go through the body changes. Just weird seeing a puppy that I rescued go through that. But anyways, son, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm a servant to the people. I'm a servant to these people in this chat right here. They know it. Now you do too. And I forgive you. Be nice if it wouldn't happen no more. And that being said, I would like to thank each and every last person. And keeping with tradition, I want to jump in here and thank personally the people who joined me on this Insomniac AM show. Miss Lovecat, the good sister, Marlene Cobb, my brother Stephen Wolf. My father bravely walked with his brothers into raging infernos for all of his fellow humans for 25 years later, the IFD, before he died with scorched lungs at 72 years old, a Korean War Navy vet. Well, God bless him for his service. A Singalo jumped in here at the very end. Of course, Stimulate. What's up, Stim? I read up on him, and apparently that quote-unquote secret society he was in was some small mail-order secret society. Who is this? Tina P. The great Roland LaFleur, long time subscriber. Old school subscriber. What's up, Roland? Glad to see you in there, man. Joey Hayes, another old schooler. That's my brother from Ireland. And of course, North Alabama cryptid, David Baxter. Dave's great to see you. James Smith, thank you for your kind words, sir. And it looks like that's all that wrangled in here. So again, folks, thank you for jumping in. Short show. Just thought I'd come in here and say hello and go through that. I don't want anybody afraid of these things. We're not called to fear. We're called to victory. And Lord, I hope none of you are ever faced with that. I've never been faced with it where My exit's on the other side of one of these things, but I'm going to get out. What's up, E-Rev? Now, I may get out of the parcel of woods a little worse for wear, but I'm getting out of there. I asked that all my prayer warriors send a special one up for Steve Wolf and his family going through what they're going through right now with the loss of his mother. I've lost my mother at 15 years of age, and it doesn't get easier no matter how old you are. And you're still going to my prayer closet with me, man. You and your family, and the prayer for peace and comfort still on. Thank you for all our contributors to the channel and all of our executive producers. If you'd like to contribute to the channel, you may do so using the links in the chat as well as the description box below. Go to Amazon, check out the book. Check out the books, plural. I think y'all like them. If you like this kind of stuff, you definitely will. And again, folks, now's the time for every man, woman, and child in this great country who love this country, who love the Lord, to start standing up to people like this. I've made my line in the sand a long time ago, and I know you guys have too. I got your back, and I know you got mine. God bless each and every last one of y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.